Good morning, kids. I am Ate Sheila, and today I am going to tell a story about Cinderella or the Little Glass Slipper. Are you ready?
Yes!
Okay, very good. Okay, let's start. Once upon a time, there was a gentleman who married for his second wife, the proudest and most haughty woman that ever was seen. She had two daughters of her own, who were indeed exactly like her in all things. The gentleman had also a young daughter of rare goodness and sweetness of temper, which she took from her mother, who was the best creature in the world. The wedding was scarcely over when the stepmother's bad temper began to show itself. She could not bear the goodness of this young girl because it made her own daughters appear the more odious. The stepmother gave her the meanest work in the house to do. She had to scour the dishes, tables, and etc. The poor girl had to sleep in the garret, upon a wretched straw bed, while her sisters lay in the fine rooms with inlaid floors, upon beds of the very newest fashion, and where they had looking glasses so large that they might see themselves at their full length. The poor girl bore all patiently, and dared not complain to her father, who would have scolded her if she had done so, for his wife governed him entirely. When she had done her work, she used to go into the chimney corner and sit down among the cinders. Hence, she was called Cinder Wench. The younger sister of the two, who was not so rude and uncivil as the elder, called her Cinderella. However, more handsome than her sisters, though they were always richly dressed. It happened that the king's son gave a ball and invited to it all persons of fashion. Our young misses were also invited, for they cut a very grand figure among the people of the countryside. They were highly delighted with the invitation and wonderfully busy in choosing the gowns, petticoats, and headdresses which might best become them. This made Cinderella's lot still harder, for it was she who ironed her sister's linen and plaited their ruffles. They talked all day long of nothing but how they should be dressed. For my part, said the elder, I will wear my red velvet suit with French trimmings. And I, said the younger, shall wear my usual skirt, but then to make amends for that, I will put on my gold-flowered mantle and my diamond-stamped mitre, which is far from being the most ordinary one in the world. They sent for the best hairdressers they could get to make up their hair in fashionable style and bought patches for their cheeks. Cinderella was consulted in all these matters, for she had good taste. She advised them always for the best and even offered her services to dress their hair, which they were very willing she should do. As she was doing this, they said to her, Cinderella, would you not be glad to go to the ball? Young ladies, she said, you only jeer at me. It is not for such as I am to go there. You are right, they replied. People would love to see a cinder wench at a ball. Anyone but Cinderella would have dressed their hair awry, but she was good-natured and arranged it perfectly well. They were almost 2 days without eating, so much were they transported with joy. They broke above a dozen laces in trying to lace themselves tight, that they might have a fine, slender shape, and they were continually at their looking glasses. When the two sisters returned from the ball, Cinderella asked them if they had had a pleasant time and if the fine lady had been there. They told her, yes, but that she hurried away the moment it struck 12, and with so much haste that she dropped one of her little glass slippers, the prettiest in the world, which the king's son had taken up. They said further that he had done nothing but look at her all the time, and that most certainly he was very much in love with her. Her sisters burst out a laughing and began to banter her. The gentleman who was sent to try the slipper looked earnestly at Cinderella, and finding her very handsome, said it was but just that she should try, and that he had orders to let every lady try it on. He obliged Cinderella to sit down, and putting the slipper to her little foot, he found it went on very easily and fitted her as if it had been made of wax. So, iyang nakit-an si Cinderella, then iyang gipa sulob ang katong sandal niya na fit man. So, nakuha niya nga si Cinderella di ay ang tag-iya sa katong sandal nga nindot. Then mao to siya. Dayon the astonishment of her two sisters was great, but it was still greater when Cinderella pulled out of her pocket the other slipper and put it on her foot. Thereupon in came her godmother, who having touched Cinderella's clothes with her wand, made them more magnificent than those she had worn before. And now her two sisters found her to be that beautiful lady they had seen at the ball. They threw themselves at her feet to beg pardon for all their ill treatment of her. Cinderella took them up, and as she embraced them, said that she forgave them with all her heart and begged them to love her always. So katong duha niya ka sisters nga magkita kay nagsorry sila ni Cinderella kay ilamang apihon si Cinderella. So pag kahibaw nila nga kanang si Cinderella di ay gibutan kaayo inana kay ilang di nagngay sila sorry ni Cinderella. So mao siya. She was conducted to the young prince, dressed as she was. He thought her more charming than ever, and a few days after married her. So pag human ato tanan, kanang nagpakasal na si katong prince nga gwapo ug si Cinderella. O mo to siya. Dayon Cinderella, who was as good as she was beautiful, gave her two sisters a home in the palace, and that very same day married them to two great lords of the court. So that's the end of the story about Cinderella and the glass slipper. Yay!